and welcome back to Lily's Library. So today we're going to be doing my January reading vlog. So I've got quite the TBR you would have seen in my video earlier this month, but I'm basically just going to be focusing on my monthly TBR in this. If I do get other books that I come across that I'm interested in reading more or more in the mood for, then I'll probably go to them. But overall, we are just focusing on my TBR, but I have already read one book off of that, so I thought we'd quickly talk about that and then get into more of the reading plans. So I finished reading Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. This was something I'd started in December. I was hoping to finish it last year, but I wasn't really vibing with it, and I didn't want to pressure myself and force myself into reading it because I thought it would have put me in a slump if I did force myself to pick up the pace with this. But I think this is a very beautiful book. It is very well written. It's a very interesting look on a toxic relationship and how kind of the smallest things can completely change someone's life. But it just didn't work for me. I just found the story structure to be a little bit confusing, and I didn't really vibe with the misogyny and the transphobia. There are quite a few parts where that does happen, specifically the misogyny, but it is a really interesting look at these characters' lives, and the room, Giovanni's room itself, is such a great analogy and metaphor for their relationship, that really dark, dirty room, that secret that is kept from view and how the windows are always closed. And I just found that to be really interesting, but it is a beautifully written book. It's just a very sad and depressing book, but I just didn't connect with it, which I didn't expect to necessarily connect with it, seeing it is about two men and men that are exploring their sexualities and stuff, but it just didn't work for me. I would be interested in reading this again in the future, and I think I will pick up more books by James Baldwin. I found the introduction as well talking about this book to be very fascinating, because at the time when this was released, this was Baldwin's second book. His first book was about black characters. I don't think there was like any white characters in his first book, maybe one. And then he went on to write a book without any black characters where everyone was white. And that was kind of not something that was done a lot, and people were kind of a bit shocked by. So I found that to be very interesting and an interesting discussion about this book. But it just didn't really work out 100% for me, which is disappointing. But yeah, like I said, it might be something I reread and get more from in the future. But yeah, I did find it to be well written, just not for me personally. So I'm currently reading two books. One is one I started ages ago and I'm trying to read more of. I've been listening to the audiobook, and that is He Who Drowned the World by Shelley Parker Chan. I've actually got quite a bit of driving and traveling time coming up, so I should be able to listen to a lot of the audiobook then. I'm going to download it so I can actually listen to it while I am flying and driving places. But then I've also been reading The Buffalo Hunter Hunter by Stephen Graham Jones, and I'm really enjoying this. I'm just under 100 pages into it. I find this fascinating. It's so interesting. It's about Native American vampires, and the story structure of this is really interesting. We start off in kind of like 2012, which is 100 years after the events kind of take place in this book, about this woman who has just been given copies of her great-great-great-grandfather's journal and diary and book and everything. And then we have actual passages from that journal, which I find to be so interesting. And I'm intrigued to see where this goes, because it looks like we're mostly stuck in 1912, which is when all of these events happen, in just a few months of each other. So I'm very intrigued to see how this goes. But like I'd mentioned, I will be doing quite a bit of traveling this month. So in a few days from now, I'm actually going to be going to WA to go and visit my sister. So that's like a 5 and a bit hour flight. And I've also got quite a lot of time to kill at the airport. So I'll be doing a lot of reading then. And then I'm also going to be going and working in a different city for a few days, and it's about a 3-hour drive away from where I am. So I'll have those 3-hour drives to listen to my audiobook, which will be nice and stuff. So we'll see how much reading I can actually get done with all of that happening. I think I might be able to get a bit, but we'll see. I'm going to try and film some of it as well, especially some of the stuff in WA, because I'm going to some places I haven't been before. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Now today, it's been a little bit rainy and overcast. I think the rain stopped now, but it might come back later. So I'm going to finish yapping because I feel like I'm losing my voice after filming that other video. I have to do some editing this afternoon, and then I'm going to be reading more of The Buffalo Hunter Hunter. I'm going to put my Kobo on charge and then hopefully read some of The Surviving Sky tonight. I'd like to at least read the first chapter. But yeah, that's kind of where we are up to. We are just going to go and get into everything now. while since I have made an update, but I'm officially halfway through the Buffalo Hunter and I am really enjoying this. I can already tell this is going to be one of my top reads of the year. I know it's only January, but this book is just so good. So I think I was kind of a bit misled when I was pitched this book and when I have been talking about this book, because I said it was about Native American vampire hunters, but it's not. It's actually just about vampires in general. Specifically, it follows this one Native American guy who gets turned into a vampire, and he then goes and hunts the buffalo hunters. And it is just, this is so good. I love the way that this is told. I can't think of the word of it, but it's like told through journal entries and everything, and it's recounting the story, which is just so interesting to see, and to see how kind of the pastor that is being told this story and writing this story in his journal, how he in his daily life after these stories keeps like integrating the words that he is told, like Sun Chief and stuff. I find that really interesting, the way it's like influencing his own life. There's been some really unsettling bits in it as well. There was a moment where the pastor was looking around the church and he got a ladder and went up to the roof into the ceiling area and was looking around to see how the cat had been getting in and out, and had discovered windows to like let the breeze in and stuff and to ventilate the church. And he saw on one of the beams that there was no dust in this area, like someone had been sitting there, and that perhaps someone who was kind of desperate enough to get into the church could fit through that window and could sit there, which is just, oh, that was so uncomfortable just thinking about the vampires sitting up in the rafters of the ceiling like that, like, ugh. But this is so good. I really love good books about kind of like revenge, and that what this guy is doing in this book to these hunters, it is just beautiful. It is amazing. It is disgusting. Just the way that Stephen Graham Jones writes his horror and his characters, he is just incredible. One of the best horror writers ever. I love this so much. But like I said, I'm just over halfway through actually now, and I'm planning on reading more of it today. I'm actually going to be leaving to go to the airport quite soon. I'm so excited. I've got a long afternoon ahead of me though. It's going to be like an hour 40 drive, I think, to the airport, maybe a bit longer, a bit shorter depending on traffic, and I got to get fuel first. So I will have plenty of time to listen to my audiobook. I'm still listening to He Who Drowned the World, which is the sequel to She Who Became the Sun. This is something I wanted to finish last year, but just didn't get around to, so I'm continuing listening to that. I'm definitely going to be able to get through a good chunk of it today, and then on the flight, or on the drive back from the airport, on Sunday night when I get home, and then I've got more drives ahead of me where I can listen to more as well. I might end up listening to some of it on the plane as well, because I'm going to take my Switch and I can listen to it while I play games, but we'll see. But yeah, so I'm also going to have a lot of time to do reading, because I'm going to get to the airport a bit earlier just so I have time to get a park and to get something to eat, because I've got a late flight, so I'd like to have dinner at the airport beforehand, and that'll give me time to just chill. Like, I'd rather get there a bit early and sit and read my book for ages, or edit some videos on my phone, and then, yeah, then rather be rushing around and risk like missing my flight. But yeah, as for the books I'm taking with me to WA, I'm obviously taking The Buffalo Hunter. This is the only physical book I'm taking. I was also contemplating taking 100 Years of Solitude with me, because I've been really feeling like reading it, but I think I'm just going to leave it here and I'll take it with me when I go and stay with my mum next week instead. So I just don't want to bring too many physical books. I have like kind of the space technically, like the baggage allowance. I have 14 kilos that I can take with me just as a carry-on, but I just don't want to have to take so many books. Maybe if I can fit it in, I'll try and shove it in there, but we'll see. And then I'm also taking my Kobo, which has got quite a few books in it. I've started reading The Surviving Sky. I've only read the first chapter, but I'm going to be reading more of that. I might switch between reading both of these books, like The Buffalo Hunter and Surviving Sky, at the airport / on the plane. And then I also ended up downloading the Yellow Wallpaper, because I've always wanted to read it, and it's part of Kobo Plus, so I got that. And then I have a few other books on there, like some library books that I want to try and read, and some other books I've just downloaded. So I've got plenty of stuff on my Kobo. So I feel like I really don't need to take 100 Years of Solitude, and if I do really want to read it, I think it's probably on Kobo Plus, or my library might have a digital copy, so I might actually look for that now and see, so I can maybe just download it in case I do really want to read it. But yeah, I still have a bit of time. It's about 2:45. I don't really need to leave until 3:15 at the probably latest, maybe a bit earlier than that, just so I have time to get fuel and everything. But yeah, so I'm gonna read it for a bit more as well. I also accidentally broke one of my nails, so I'm gonna put more of this OPI Nail Envy on, because it helps strengthen my nails a bit. But yeah, I'm gonna go do that, finish my tea, and read a bit more before I need to finish getting ready and pack up the rest of my stuff and get going. But I'm going to take you with me as well on the trip. We'll see how we go. I'm going to stop yapping though, so I can spend the rest of my time I have reading and hopefully get through another chapter of this book before I need to leave. So it's been a little while since I actually sat down and gave a reading update or really filmed anything, but I've kind of been doing a little bit of reading. I've at least made a decent amount of progress on one book. But as I said earlier, I was actually working in a different area for the week. So I was staying with my mum and I just didn't really get much time for reading. Like I got to listen to a lot of my audiobook because the drive to work from my mum's place is a lot longer than my drive to work where I currently am to my current workplace. So I managed to get in a decent amount of audiobook reading, and then also I had a like almost 3-hour drive home from my mum's place to where I am now, so I had a lot of time to read. But I'll just kind of do an update on it and then we'll talk about some of my reading plans going forward. But I have made a lot of progress on He Who Drowned the World. I'm literally almost done. I'm on chapter 22, so I've got like this much left, which I'm planning on sitting down and finishing it this afternoon. I really have like nothing left. I'm on page 434 of 484 pages, 83 pages. So I think I'm just gonna sit down after this and finish this and get it over and done with. I'm really, really enjoying this. I was listening to this on audiobook, like I said, but I literally just finished a chapter and ran out of audiobook listening hours. Love Spotify. I really need to use something different, but that's where I started listening to this, so I thought I'd just continue it. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. I'm very sad about a lot of the things that have happened, about a lot of the character deaths that have happened. I knew a lot of people would die, but I was hoping it wouldn't be the people that did die, but this is just so good. I do feel like with the audiobooks of these books, though, I am missing a bit of the nuance of it, and I am missing a few things, and there's a few things I'm just not grasping. So I think like how I reread She Who Became the Sun, this will probably be a book I reread later just because I feel like I am missing out on a lot. But I really love this world and these characters. They are just so complex, and I just love all of them. They all have like such strong motivations and thoughts and feelings, and I just absolutely love how it is all done. This is also super, super queer and super fucking traumatic and sad, and it's just like such a tough read, but I am really enjoying it. So I am going to be finishing this. Like I said, I've got not long left in it. I've got like 50 pages-ish, give or take. So I'm going to be reading this one. I have also started The Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. This is book 1 in the Rainwild Chronicles. I've only read the first 2 chapters, so I'm about 50 pages in, but I'm going to be really bunkering down and finishing this, or hunkering down and finishing this throughout the next week. I'd like to try and finish it before the end of the month. I think I can easily do that because there are some other books I also need to try and read, but I really am going to be prioritizing this as soon as I finish He Who Drowned the World. I just do struggle a bit to read 2 somewhat dense fantasy books at the same time. So I think as soon as I do finish the Shelley Parker Chan book, I can really dedicate a lot more time to this. And then I am reading another kind of dense fantasy book as well, but we'll see how we go with it. One's physical, one's like digital. So I feel like that kind of helps break it up. And these ones are very different as well. Like all of these books are different, but you know, but I am enjoying this. I am very intrigued. It is very sad so far. So obviously from the 20 Man trilogy, we kind of knew that the dragon hatching in this, like the first lot of dragons that hatched, really didn't go well, but it was really, really sad to actually read that and see what is happening and see the way all these dragons are hatching and are deformed. It's just really so tragic and sad, especially since we do get to see inside the dragon's thoughts and feelings in this, at least one of them. And I'm really intrigued to see where this book goes. Like I said, I have only read the 2 chapters, so I'm not quite sure where we're going just yet, but I am very intrigued and excited to read and explore more of the Rain Wilds. So I've got book 1 and 2 of this quartet, so I need to pick up the other 2 books soon, but I think I'm going to leave that for next month because in February we will also move into book 2 and then read the other ones later on. But yeah, I'm making a bit of slow progress in this one. Then I did start reading on my Kobo a digital version of The Surviving Sky, and I've only read the first chapter of this. I think I might actually restart it and reread the first chapter and then continue on and try and read it pretty quickly, because this is like a 500 something 600 page book, and this one is a similar length as well, so I really need to prioritize both of these and see if we can get to more. But I think today I might just like not read too much of The Surviving Sky and start it tomorrow night instead. But yeah, those are kind of my reading plans at the moment. There is a few other books on my TBR I might try and get to, but I'm not going to talk about them at the moment because I really don't know if I'm anywhere close to starting them. But yeah, it is pretty hot today. It's also very weird weather. It might be storming, it might not. There's just a lot of weirdness going on, so we're going to see how we go. But I am going to finish my tea. I'm also about to film another video that you will probably have already seen by now. I'm going to do a book tag, like a beginning of the year tag, so I need to go through, get the questions and select all my books and answers to them. But I'm gonna turn on the aircon. I think I had it on before, but it got a bit cold, so I think I'm just going to turn it back on and chill here and get all those together and then start filming, and then we can move on to finishing He Who Drowned the World. I'm just so excited to have it done because it's a book that's been on my TBR for like years, like since it released, so it is nice to finally have that completed. But I'm also so sad about it ending because I do really enjoy this book, even though I do feel like I'm missing bits and pieces of it. But yeah, I'm gonna stop rambling and get into the organizing of the tag and some reading and other stuff. So I have officially finished He Who Drowned the World, and I overall had a really good time with this book. I feel like these books just aren't something that they're not easy for me to read. I think there's quite a lot of nuance to them. They're quite dense. There's a lot of stuff that happens with the characters and the world and everything that it's something that you really need to pay close attention to. At least I feel that way. And I did have a really good time with this, but this is just not the 5-star book I had hoped it to be. I think it is quite close, but there's just some disconnect between me and these books. So I thought we'd do a little library haul and then also a little reading update, because I've yet to finish a book since we last spoke. I think the last time I did a proper verbal update like this was when I finished He Who Drowned the World, which I still have mixed feelings on, but I've yet to finish a book. I am nearly finished a book that I'm planning on finishing this afternoon, and I'm hoping to finish 2 more books before the end of the month. So we're going to talk about those, but first we're going to talk about the 3 books I picked up from the library. So 2 of these were ones that I had put on hold and stuff and were available for me to collect. The other one was one I was not expecting to get, but I was looking for something else, and for some reason, every time I go looking for books at the moment at the library, they're never on the shelf, so I always have to put a hold on for them. Even though it says they're available, I can never find them in the actual library. I should probably just ask someone, but I've kind of been too lazy. But we'll start with the books that I got that were on hold for me. So the first book is a Frederick Bachman. I was actually planning on reading a different one from him, but I decided to give this one a go. This was one of the ones they said on the had on the shelf, but they didn't. didn't, so I had to put a reservation in, and then it was available a few days later. But I don't 100% remember what this is about. I believe it's set in a small town where they've like a very like snowy village and stuff like that. Like they're very heavy on winter sports. And I think it's about this like this one act that kind of like destroys the community and everything. I think it's like a hockey player or something who had found out that he had raped a girl or assaulted a girl. I believe that's what it is, and I've heard really good things about this. Now, if you've seen some of my other videos or been around, you might have heard that I wasn't a fan of A Man Called Uwe. This was it just didn't work for me, but I would really love to give Frederick Buckman's books another go because I know he is so beloved. So Beartown is one I'm gonna hopefully get to in February. I also want to get to We Are Friends, or We Were Friends or something, or My Friends I think it's called, which looks very summery. I was actually supposed to be getting a digital copy of it, but for something didn't work with my hold, so I didn't get it. But if I get that in February, I'm going to be reading that, and I'll probably return Beartown and end up borrowing it in winter, because I feel like this is a winter book, but maybe it'll also make me forget about how hot it is, but we'll see. Then to go into an actual summary book, I've got a romance. I was actually, again, looking for a different version, a different book from this author, but they didn't have it, but they did have this available, and that is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I recently watched People We Meet on Vacation, that movie, and I really loved the movie. The book I DNF'd because I'm not really a fan of that kind of trope, but I think the movie did it really well, and I find it a lot more easier to watch those kinds of like friends to lovers sort of things than I do to read them, to be honest, but I don't know. But I really felt like a romance, especially with some of the books I've been reading lately, I really needed a romance, so I will be reading this one in February, most likely, unless I feel like starting it this weekend, but we'll see. This is a lot longer than I thought. Like, this is almost 400 pages, but I don't 100% remember what this is about. I feel like it was a couple that were originally together, and then they would go on these holidays all the time with their friends, or would always go to the same place maybe, and then they suddenly broke up, but they have to still go on this holiday and share a room and pretend they are still together, which I do actually kind of enjoy that concept where it is like a couple like that's been established and everything, and it's them kind of going through changes. I do enjoy that a lot more than I do like tropes like friends to lovers. I know they're not I know they're different, but I feel like they also have a lot of similarities because there is that established dynamic between them. But I haven't heard too much about this one, to be honest. I just feel like reading romance, and I really adore the way Emily Henry does it. And yeah, I know more of her books are going to be made into movies, so I would like to read more of them because I've still only read the 2 books from her, and I did enjoy them, so I would like to read this one. Then the book that was like kind of a bit unexpected that I picked up was a graphic novel. I was originally looking for Bat Eater, and they said they had it, but I could not find it anywhere, so I think I'm going to put a hold on it later and I'll pick it up another time. But I ended up getting Little Bird. This sounded really interesting. I'll read you the back of it. It says, born into an endless war between the oppressive American Empire and a withering resistance, Little Bird is the rebellion's last hope. With her village destroyed, her mother taken hostage, and her country in ruins, the young rebel fighter must traverse a dystopic Canadian landscape on a desperate quest to free the legendary axe and reignite the flames of resistance to save her country, to save her people, to discover her true identity in a world of fire. This sounds really interesting. It says it's a sci-fi epic from some acclaimed writers and filmmakers. I've never heard of any of these names. So it says that this is from Darcy Van Polgeest. I don't know if I said that right, and artist Ian Bertram, which his name sounds a little bit more familiar, but I just saw the cover of this and it's looked really interesting. I was flicking through it in the library as well, and I don't know what about it, but it kind of gave me like Dune and also Studio Ghibli vibes. Yeah, I don't know, just something about it was very interesting to me, but it looks really cool, and I love graphic novels. It's been quite a while since I read one, and I do want to read more again, so very nice to see that at the library. But like I said, I've also been doing some other reading lately. So I have been reading The Poet Empress. I don't remember who the author of this is. I'll put it up on the screen, but this is a 2026 fantasy debut. I actually had an e-arc of this I was planning to read a little while ago, but I just never got around to for some reason, because I've heard such good things about this book. It has been getting such amazing rave reviews. Like, every person I've seen read it lately has been giving it 5 stars. So I was really eager to start reading that one, and I am really enjoying it. I don't know if it's going to be quite 5 star for me. I think I don't think it's a fault of the book. I think it's just a me thing because I read it so close to finishing He Who Drowned the World, and there's just a bit of overlap because they both are obviously Chinese inspired fantasies, that we've got those like Mandate of Heaven things, and I just kind of, it took a little bit to click, but I'm absolutely loving it. It is so brutal and dark. Apparently in America it's been marketed as enemies to lovers, which I've not seen anywhere. I don't know if it's just been the side of the internet I'm on, but I haven't seen that being the case. But this is a very, very dark fantasy. There is lots of torture in it. There's lots of murder. It is brutal. It is just not a light book, hence me wanting to read Happy Place, but it is really good. I'm almost done it. I've got, I think, around 100-ish pages left, because of the way it's formatted on my e-reader. It doesn't like completely sync up with where I'm at, but I'm like, I've got only like an hour of reading left, maybe a bit more than that. So I'm going to be planning on finishing that this afternoon. And then I haven't really made too much progress on the Dragon Keeper book. This is book 1 in the Rainwild Chronicles. I'm going to talk about it later once I do read more, but I've only read the first few chapters, so not much has happened yet, but I'm intrigued to see where everything goes. I can already tell I'm going to hate some of the characters. Just one of them, just Robin Hobb is so good at writing really annoying like villains and all of that stuff. Maybe they're not a villain, but you know what I mean, like an antagonist. So I'm very intrigued to read more of that. But it is a Friday afternoon at the moment. I have Monday off because it is a public holiday that I don't celebrate, but my workplace made us take it off and we didn't get a say, which I hate because typically we do work public holidays, but I'm glad I have an extra day to sleep and to read because I've not been feeling well. But my plans for the long weekend is to I'm going to play Pathfinder tomorrow at some point. We're probably going to go to the movies because there's a few movies out that I've been wanting to watch. And then I'm going to be finishing The Poet Empress. And then I really want to try and make a lot of progress on Dragon Keeper as well as The Surviving Sky, which I don't think I've spoken about too much, but this is a giant buddy read I'm doing with a bunch of people from TikTok. Pretty much everyone has finished the book. I think there's only 2 or 3 of us that have yet to start or have barely read anything. So I really want to try and finish this before the end of the month. So I really only have until Saturday next week to get it done because we are already nearing the end of the month. But those are my plans, to read those 3 books, finish at least one of them. Maybe if I can finish 2 of them this weekend, that would be fantastic. But I'm going to work on finishing all of them by the end of the month. So it's the next day now. I ended up finishing The Poet Empress yesterday and I really, really enjoyed it. This was such a really like good but disturbing and messed up read. Like this is so heavy. If you are planning on reading this book, just please check the content warnings because it is quite brutal and there is a lot of violence on and off page that is described that happens in this. It is just insane, but I absolutely love this for a debut. This is so strong and well done. The characters were just amazing. I really loved our main character, Wei, and the way that she progressed and changed throughout the book and how she kind of like, her motives kind of changed in a way, or like maybe not changed, but like just seeing the way that that changed and how everything that she thought and felt about all these characters progressed and how she was able to make everything turn out in the end. It was just so fascinating and so well done, and I absolutely loved all of the characters in it. Like Terran, who is like the main male character, he's the one that she ends up marrying to become the Empress in Waiting or whatever it is, and he was just such an interesting and fascinating character. Like all of these characters are just so well done, but I really enjoyed that. I was so happy to read it. It was just amazing. Then last night I ended up starting reading a different book, a graphic novel I got from the library, which you would have seen me talking about earlier, and that is Little Bird. And I just was reading a little bit of it before, but I think I'm honestly going to DNF this. I'm a bit confused what's going on. The story structure doesn't really make sense, and I feel like it's just not working out, and I just don't think I actually care. about what's going on. So I'm just going to save myself the trouble and DNF this. I know I did have a goal in one of the Storygraph reading long challenges that I'm doing this year to read a graphic novel, but there will be other graphic novels throughout the year that I will read. So I think I am just going to DNF this, which is a little bit sad because it's a really cool art style. It really reminds me of like Nausicaa in a way from what I've seen of it so far, but it's just something in it is just, I just don't really care, and it's just not really connecting with me with anything, and I feel like I'm very confused about some of the things that happens. It like just keeps jumping around lots, and I know because it is like 5 volumes kind of put into one, but there's still like a disconnect between everything that's happening. So I just don't think I care enough to keep reading it, so I'm just going to DNF it, and I will return it to the library. But in the meantime, I think I'm going to... I don't know if I'm going to read more or play some Animal Crossing. I got myself a Sudoku puzzle book from the shop today, so I might try and do some more of that and maybe put on a TV show, but I don't know. I'm going to figure it out. And then I'm also going to maybe read some more of Dragon Keeper. I would like to read a lot of this weekend if I can finish it. We'll see how we go. I'm currently on page 120 of like 500 and something, so I've got quite a long way to go. Yeah, so there's 553 pages, so I would like to try and read a lot more. I'd like to maybe get to the 300 and something page mark today if I could, but we'll see how we go because I do read Robin Hood books pretty slow. But yeah, I thought I'd just do a little update on that. I'm going to figure out what the plan is. It's really, really hot today, and tomorrow's meant to be even worse. Like it's currently 36, but feels like 37, which is cooked. Tomorrow is meant to be... Sorry, it's currently 36, but feels like 38 degrees. Tomorrow's meant to be the same, and I hate it. It's not too humid, at least. It's just really hot. I might try and go for a walk later this afternoon if it does cool down, but it looks like it's not going to for a while. So we'll see how we go. But yeah, I'm going to figure out what my plan is. I've also got another book that just came through from my library that I got a digital copy of, and it's called Conspiracy Nation, I believe. Let me get it up. But it is a nonfiction book by some Australian journalists. I think they're journalists. But yeah, it is called Conspiracy Nation. I have it on my Kobo as well. It's just a book kind of detailing different conspiracy theories and stuff in Australia and the way that kind of people can be influenced by them, I guess. Like it's got a sub chapter as well on like anti-vax and stuff, because that's a very big thing in Australia, especially in some parts of Australia, and like looking at all those different things, which I find to be really interesting. So I might even try and read some of that. But yeah, I'm going to stop yapping and rambling and figure out my plan. I would really like to not be on my phone, because last night I spent way too much time just scrolling on Instagram and stuff, so I would like to avoid doing that. I also have to edit another video this afternoon, so I'll probably make some time for that soon, but I'm gonna go find something for me to do now. So it is a lot later. I haven't really done too much reading today, as you would have seen before. I was just making a cake. I forgot to film a lot of the process, but I really wanted to make a bundt cake. I don't know why. I feel like there's nothing really that different about a bundt cake besides like the shape, but I thought it'd be cute and cool, and I've seen some really nice looking ones. So I'm just making a cake today. Really, I'm really hot. I feel like my brain is malfunctioning because of how hot it is. But so I have just chucked it in the oven and tidied up a little bit, but I'm going to be letting that cook, and then I might either watch something on the TV or play some Animal Crossing or do something upstairs on the computer. But I really don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't really done much at all today. It's been really hot, so I've kind of just been chilling on the couch. My hair is also like all over the place. I do not know what is going on with it. But Yeah, I have been reading a little bit. I read a chapter of Dragon Keeper by Robin Hobb. I am hoping to finish this by the end of the month, but I just really don't know how I'm going to go with it. I don't know what it is, but I'm just really not feeling like reading fantasy at the moment. There's an ebook I've also been wanting to read, which is The Surviving Sky. I've read the first chapter of it and I've been meaning to read more of it. But I don't know what it is. I just kind of don't think I want fantasy right now, but I need to try and finish both before the end of the month. So I'm thinking maybe I take a break from that. I did enjoy the chapter I read, and I can tell like now that Dragon Keeper is definitely going to get a lot more into like the main plot. We've kind of like substantiated and set everything up. So I might try and read another chapter or two tonight and see how we go. I would like to get up to page 200, which is literally just another chapter away. It's about a 40-page chapter, just under 40 page, I think it's like 38 page chapter, but it's still very long. Just Robin Hobb takes me a while to read, so I might try and read that, but I just don't know what I feel like reading. I want to read, but my brain is so overloaded with the heat that it's just not working out, so I think I might read a romance instead. You would have seen in my little library vlog, but I picked up Happy Place. This one I only have for a shorter time than everything else, so most of the books I have until like the 20-something of February. This one needs to go back on the 7th of February. This one's got a very short hold period. So I'm kind of thinking maybe I'll start this. It's also a summer read, so I feel like it is perfect for the heat and the weather that is going on today, and it's got massive margins and a massive font, so I feel like this will be very easy to read, and I think I just need something pretty nice and easy, so I think I'm going to pick up this one. But I don't really remember too much about what this is, just that it's a couple that like used to be together and now they're no longer together, and they're going on a holiday with their friends and they have to pretend that they're still together. But yeah, I think I might chill. I've got the fan on. If you can hear it, I'm sorry, but it is really hot. I need to have it on. So I think I'm going to chill here on the couch with the fan on. I've got a iced green tea that I am drinking and a giant thing of water. So I think I might sit here and die for a bit and read Happy Place. Once the cake is out of the oven as well, I might go on a walk. I don't know what I'm going to do with the cake because my cat is here and he's going to try and get it. So whether I take it upstairs and close it in another room or what I do with it. But I do really want to try and go on a walk and get moving today. That's something I'm going to do a lot later though, because it is way too hot. It is insane. It doesn't look like it's going to start cooling down until like midnight. Even then it's still like 23 degrees. Ugh, I hate this, but yeah, I'll see how I go with walking. It would be nice to, but I think maybe I might end up leaving it depending how hot it stays the rest of this afternoon. But yeah, I want to start getting into walking and moving more. I actually just ordered myself a pair of Salomon like hiking shoes, running shoes, like their sneaker hiking shoes, because I am planning on going on a few little holidays this year to go and do some like different walks and hikes and stuff. I'm hoping to go to Girraween National Park, which is this really big national park not too far from where we are. I think it's like a 2-hour drive-ish, give or take, and that'd be really cool. I've gone down there once before in school for a school camp and absolutely loved all the hikes and the climbs up there, so I think I would definitely love to do that. And then I think we're also planning on going to Tasmania this year and going to like Cradle Mountain, which I haven't been to since I was like a child, so it'd be nice to go back down there again. And I just need some more supportive shoes that I can just wear with other things as well, so I ordered myself a pair of those. I will show you them once they arrive, hopefully before the end of the month. If not, they'll be here early February, but they were kind of like my birthday present to myself because my birthday is very soon in February. But I think I'm gonna stop yapping now. I've got half an hour until my cake needs to be checked on / taken out of the oven, so I think I'm gonna see how much I can read in that time period. Okay, so I think I'm gonna call the reading vlog there. I didn't end up reading and finishing everything I had hoped to. Like, I'm still reading through The Dragon Keeper, but I'm not gonna finish it anytime soon, and it's already February, so I think we're just gonna call it here, and I'm gonna try and finish this in February instead, and then just move on to the sequel. But I'm really enjoying this one so far. I'm over halfway now, and we're starting to get things moving, which is good, and I'm really intrigued to see how everything kind of ends up going. So it's really interesting. We've also got a bunch of characters back from the live ship traders that are now in this book, which I absolutely love. I'm so happy to see them all, but I'm really enjoying this one. I don't think it's going to be 5 stars, but it's still really solid, and I can't wait to see where this series goes. But yeah, I'm going to put a pause on this and I'll continue reading it in February. But you would have seen that I also recently finished reading another book. So I read 6 books in January. My wrap up is already up if you want to see it. I will link it down below. But I ended up reading Happy Place by Emily Henry. I picked this up from the library and I really enjoyed this. I thought it was fun. Not my favorite Emily Henry, but still a really solid read, a really nice summer read. The only thing that would have made this better is if I was at the beach or by the pool and could read it, but unfortunately, I don't have either of those near me where I am, but this was still really fun and a really solid way to end the month. I think I really did need a romance after finishing The Poet Empress because that was just so heavy, but yeah, I'm happy that I did finish another book. But yeah, like I said, I think I'm going to call this here and we will just move on because this video is probably long enough already and I need to get editing it. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will have another reading vlog up soon. Yeah, that is it for this week's video. I will see you guys all with a new one next time, so make sure you like, comment, and subscribe.